And if this shocks you, you are really in delusion. And you should to be shocked. You need to be shocked. You will die. You will die. And 1 minute before you die, there is a high possibility that you will find the thought that you will die, you will find it still shocking. It's not like, okay, that once you're 60 years old, I mean, when I was 17, I thought, when I'm 30, I mean, then I could die. Because, I mean, after 30 years, you've seen so much. And 30 or 40 or 50, who cares? I think if I'm 82, it's just like, I'm too young to die. Okay? So it is a shock to know that this life here on the earth will have an end. And it will be gone very soon. It will be gone very soon. And there is, at the end of the day, there is an eternity waiting for us. And in this eternity, there is only one currency. In this eternity, there is only one thing you can transport from here to there. And this is your lack of ability or your ability to love. This is the only thing that counts, the only thing. And if you're killed in the Congo trying to evangelize there, or if you die after a happy and long life with 84, at the end of the day, the pay is the same. If you're single, if you're married, if you're living in Afghanistan or living in Germany or living in Amsterdam. See, I have a vision for you to live long and to live happily and to have all the wonderful things that God has made for us. But it is not what your life is about. Your life is about to love. And I do not, or I try to, let's say like that. See, the gospel is not about making us happy on this side of the earth. It's really not. It's easy for me to say that. I'm not persecuted in Iraq or so. It's really easy to me to say this and save Germany. But it's still true. It's still true. God is God and we are not. And this side of eternity is a training camp for the other side. Nothing else. Nothing else. I don't expect this life to be fulfilling in every situation, in every part. See, there are so many people here. I've seen it over and over. They find Jesus in the youth group, and 3 years later, or 4 years later, they are so disappointed that they are still single because they prayed for their ideal husband or their ideal girlfriend, and one relationship broke, and then said, "Okay, God, if you are so cruel, I quit following Jesus." Oh yeah, yes. If you are God, then I can understand this answer. See, if God is a mean to the end of your own glorification, then you need to be disappointed if he does a bad job, and he will do a bad job glorifying you. Because, no, really, it's about you learning to love. It's about you learning to love. But how are you learning to love? So this young guy, he says, "Okay, Jesus, I know it's about loving God. But how?" And Jesus tells the story of what? Exactly, the Samaritan, which at the end is just an answer to the question which this young man raised. And what was the question? The question was, how do I love my neighbor? Who's my neighbor? And Jesus just explains who's your neighbor. What is the answer? Your neighbor is the one guy who does not fit into your concept at all. He's the one who, on your way to doing something very important, has a problem. Yeah? Your neighbor is the one guy who's not part of your spiritual family. He's a Samaritan. Or, the Samaritan, he's a Jew. So he's something. So what Jesus is saying is that your neighbor is always the one who needs your love, and you're just too busy, or it doesn't fit in. Okay? So, but now the interesting question is, why did this young guy not ask, "Okay, Jesus, how can I love God more?" He just asked about the neighbor. Jesus answers the second question as well. And he answers it in Luke 10, but not with a parable and not with a story he tells, but with a real happening. Let's read on. Just after the guy from Jericho and Samaritan. Verse 38. I'm sure you've heard it before many times, but I try to draw your attention to this story once more. Now it came to pass, as they went, that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word, or listened to his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, or she was worried or troubled with much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, does it not bother you, or don't you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Bid her, therefore, that she helps me, or tell her that she should help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, you are careful and troubled, or you are sorrowful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed only. And Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken from her.